May I now invite Mr. Kabilan, who is the Director HR and Safety for Kone Elevators, and he is going to touch upon a topic which is a need of the hour, HR in 2020.
Thanks and thank you, Sriram. Once again, good afternoon to everyone. May I request everybody to please stand up. Good. Can you please raise your left hand? Yeah. Fold backwards and tap yourself for all the good work you have done so far. Okay. So thank you once again, and please sit down. It's good to break that monotony of sitting after lunch and so many slides and so many people preaching. So I'll try to connect most of it what was discussed so far, okay, with some data. This is available globally. I also have some reference which you can actually use for further research also. Maybe we can put the slides. It says HR 2020 slide. Yeah. Okay, so just some of the big global trends we'll talk about. The first thing is, as we learned in the morning, while we are having difficulty in making our students be hired by, companies, if you talk to any of the leaders, the biggest problem every leader has is hiring people, right? So the number one priority for any of the top leader is getting the right people. They feel that there is not enough available in the market. So you see the dichotomy. So what is that happening? The people who are eligible to be employed is the problem at every level, not only as freshers, senior levels also. And you talk to most of the companies, they are wanting to expand globally and predominantly in Asia and much more so in India, right? So future is bright. As many of our people in the past said, there is a lot of opportunity for people to be employed, and it's in our hands to make an impact. Okay. So the top theme I would like to leave in this slide is there is a demand for people, quality people, and especially Asia and in India, developing countries. Fine. And in the theme of what's happening now, many topics have been discussed. I'll take two important areas. The population dynamics that's happening across the globe and the technological advances. I'll just repeat few things and then probably few additional points in this topic. If you look at most of the developed markets, in the last few years, there is a deficiency of available talents. It's going in the negative. I'm talking about even the Asian developed markets like Singapore, Australia, etc. There is not enough talent available for the need, so there is a deficiency of talents. So far okay? Can I proceed? Okay. Now this is another graph which I will probably explain and then take the dimensions of other countries. For example, in Germany, the red circle that you see is all the total population of both male and female. The black is the male and the blue is the female, of people in the age group of 40 to 60, right? So in Germany, people below 40 are far fewer, less than 20 are far fewer, right? So you can see that their active employable population are already in the range of 60s and almost 70s. You see how the population dynamics in those countries are. Taking this further, of different countries, look at Japan. I think in the morning also there was a connotation about Japan. So need for help of robots or digital, making it simple, etc. is becoming that much more important because there are not enough working population, younger population to take care. So look at India. You see the base, it's like a nice, So we have the volume, the quantity. The point is how do we make these people capable to be employed to whatever job that's going to be coming in the future, which is actually drastically changing, right? So in a way, we have a good strength to fight, whereas a lot of other countries are left out. They are trying to manage it in a different ways. But this is a very key thing for India to be having the strength and then work on it. Okay, the next is about the technological advances. Quite a few have already been shared. I'll just take few examples. The typical courier job, a person who used to travel in the bike and then deliver, is also changing in most of the countries, right? And even they are talking about driverless cars. So the things that are happening is actually impacting some of the people's career. And let's not think only at an operator level, it can be even, as like our friend said, HR job is also getting impacted. So that way, everything will get an impact with a faster pace at which it is happening. Maybe let me take an example of my past experience. I was with a company called Kodak. Many of you might remember, Kodak was supposed to be a top 4 brand of the world. 100-year-old. They have a huge township in US, which is called the Kodak City, and a huge profitable organization, right? With the digitalization of digital happening, and the company was so happy and flourished that they were making good money in the film business, the ability to change and shift gears, the entire organization's learning ability and to act fast with the market was not able to keep in pace, and now the organization is no longer there, actually speaking, right? So that is the kind of impact organization can have and people can have, and obviously what we are doing to equip our people for future. So that is where I think some of the themes, like what people said, learning agility. So what I learned yesterday and today may not be relevant for tomorrow. So I should be able to unlearn and quickly learn something new. I should be open-minded. So which is true for us as corporate people, for you as faculty and the owners of institutions, and for children and for the students, right? So we have to inculcate this culture. How it can happen? Obviously, into building that curiosity, willingness for them to ask questions and clarify. So that's very key. If they don't learn in the early days, it becomes difficult for them to be a successful long-term professional or career. So it's happening everywhere, whether it's medical, even some of the surgeries are not done by the doctors nowadays, robots are taking over. So any specialized work to any work, changes are happening. So it is having an impact. So we should be conscious of it and equip our students to be open, explore, and be able to learn fastly and adapt. Okay. So with that theme, there is also a few topics I will touch on, how companies are coping with these changes and how they are trying to also, because every organization with this thing in mind have to equip that organization with the people. Without people, business is not there, right? So briefly 4 areas that they try to impact. I will not touch again everything. Few important I will try to touch base, and then we will have Q&A. Because of the labor markets, like for example, we talked about TCS and many other organizations, even NASSCOM and a lot of other organizations are working with students, institutions to build their capability, right? Google has many programs. So a lot of organizations across the globe are working with the employable or probably the potential hires, work with them to develop so that they can become a successful employee later. So then companies are working on how do I build these talents, or buy, borrow, bind, so many options are there. They spend time in trying to retain. How do we tackle the demographic challenge? I think quite a bit of theme came from many people. One is the multi-generational workforce, right? So what me as an employee was earlier looking forward to a company, what engaged me is no longer the same for people who come from colleges nowadays. There is a lot of variation in what engages to employees. So companies have to be flexible in making sure we are customizing our approaches. On that topic, there is one slide, where probably I'll keep this as the last slide. When we asked as globally, what is important for a particular employee to be successful for the future? right? If you see areas like how long the person was working in the company, how many departments the person worked in the company, which is in the left side, is no longer a great importance. What is important is how good he is in the job that he is exposed to. Somebody talked about competency, which is not necessarily the particular program that he is great at, but he should be able to easily learn something new in that particular domain. So domain expertise is still a key, but more importantly, how well the person can collaborate, adapt, be able to change faster. All those transferable skills are becoming more and more important for being successful in the future. So based on this, if you look at for us as institutions and the faculty, how do I help my student to be able to collaborate, in terms of communicate with people and also adapt to the changes faster and keep my learning agility much higher, right? So that is the biggest theme that I probably wanted to share based on the data that's globally available now. I think with that, this is again, a lot of research and material available which can be used for further learning. So I'm cutting short with that presentation and open for Q&A, which can happen now or later. I'll leave that. Yeah. Any questions? So let it be interactive. I think we felt that this session we wanted to cut short the communication from our side to a crisp, and then feel free to ask and deliberate. We may not have all the answers, but we will definitely try to give our perspective. Any questions, please feel free to ask.
The retention is the biggest issue these days.
Absolutely.
We provide the enough training, opportunity, and the pay. At a particular point of time, they start moving out of the company, then retaining them is the biggest challenge. How you handle?
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll probably share some of my experiences and what we do, and maybe I can also have my colleagues here to help. Personally, when I started my career, I worked for a non-profit organization, of course, before my marriage, after my college. That almost close to 3 years of my career used to be my, like passion, working with slum dwellers and making an impact in, with people. Now, pretty low salary, but what you help, what you get satisfied, because as a person I felt was nice, so it was engaging. We used to travel in cycles to the respective villages and do a scientific way of assessing their needs and then, delivering. So point is, for that organization to retain us is not the common thing of money. It is about understanding what I value and connect that to that. Of course, the reason I left is marriage was there, obviously money was not enough and all that happened. So that's one thing. So we have to understand what ticks for that employee and connect to that job so that the person feels at the end of the day satisfaction for him more than to anybody else. So that's one of the things I feel is important to engage people more than money and title. But of course, the market is not the same. It keeps changing, and also for employees at different stages of their life, these priorities changes, right? So we have to be closely attached to that, understand what takes for them and what changes, and then be able to customize that need and then give it. So on top of things, two things matters. In a professional life, in our research, two important things matters. Definitely money. If a person is, in the younger 30s, got married and stuff like that, money definitely is one of the key stuff. The second important stuff is they want to see their career in a long term. If they see a investment by the company that is little long term and the company is sincerely interested in their growth, these are two important stuff, in my opinion, sticks them for long in the organization. Yeah, with those points, any comments from any of my colleagues to add on to this?
I'll add on while I am.
Sure. Okay. Good. Any other questions, please? The last question, I guess. No? Final? Okay. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
My question is, you are recruiting people. They are good and sound enough. Once they get their tagline called experienced, they will suddenly move to other companies.
Yep.
Due to this, attrition rate for certain companies gets increased year after year.
Yep.
So, is there any plans to reduce this attrition rate? As a HR, I expect some valid answer.
Sure. I'll give you my personal experience on this particular company and give you also a different perspective. attrition, as my friend also said, is one of the biggest challenges for every company and every HR. Okay. For example, in the current company that I worked 5 years back when I joined, you talk about, let's say, the sales guys who are the front end to a customer. They see our organization based on the sales guys, right? The attrition per annum used to be 50%, which means every year a customer meets 2 people representing the same organization, which obviously is not good, right? So we have to understand why. So you have to understand those root causes and then make those corrections. Obviously one was salary, and also how do we reward, recognize, help them grow, and how do you invest on them, etc., etc. There are so many things there. So now it's around 14%, right? So this kind of impact is possible with a concerted effort, and we should not lie back and say, okay, I've done a great job and that's it, people are not going to go. Every time things changes and it can drive the other way. So it's about the organization. It starts from the right policies of how transparency you have, reward and recognition, how the managers are trained to treat these employees, give that respect and freedom, so many things, and the development, as I said. These are few parameters on which you work and engage. Now, at the end of the day, even after all this, there will be some people who will be leaving. It is for the organization to focus on who are the key guys who contribute more. If you take 100 people, you probably have seen that, bell curve, normal, bell curve. So that's how the distribution is. So if you take 100 people in a particular role, there is always somebody who contributes great to somebody to the, okay, or then somebody to the bottom. So you have to focus on those top few who actually make a bigger difference, and then work on them to retain. In a way, you have to help in retention.
Thank you so much, Sriram and Mr. Kabilan.